Good afternoon from Snake Mountain Boat Works on Thursday, January 28. Here's yet another update on the 1953 Shepherd Sportsman that now is completely, almost completely skinned in 3/8 plywood, and we've begun fitting the planks to it. So I thought I'd have John first go through a little bit of discussion on the process of installing the plywood, and then we'll go to the other side and talk about some of the challenges we face when we try to install old planking back on the bottom of a boat.
Okay, the other day when we left off on our video, I think we had open framing and we were ready for our plywood skin. So the process to that was we made our patterns, we cut out the plywood, we sealed the plywood, and then we were ready to put the plywood on. We put one coat of bilge paint on the inside for the color. We put 5200 marine sealer and put it on all the framing first, and then we stuck down the 3/8 plywood to it. And of course, trying to bend the plywood two different directions, we had to use the screws to pull it into place, and maybe even a rubber mallet to pound it into place so that the plywood was all down even with the other sheets. And we got that all screwed onto the framing, and then there's some intermediate strips that we cut out, and we have a mark in between each of the framing, and we put 5200 on the strips, and someone got inside and some on the outside, and we screwed them down to the plywood. So we have these strips in between all the framing for more structure.
So we've got a bottom that's literally rock hard at this point.
Good and solid.
Yep.
And this last sheet of plywood we'll put on this side, and then we'll go over to the planking on the other side. And putting the planking on is another little challenge. We straightened the keel on this boat, so we actually lifted the keel up and straightened a little bit of the framing. So,
and we spread the chines a bit too,
yeah,
to put them back where they were.
Back together so that everything was nice and straight like it was originally. But when we go to put all the planking on, you have to first of all set it in where it goes and fit it to make sure it all fits well. So we did that all along the edge here, and we got all these nice little puzzle pieces back together so it came out nice and tight with the stem. And that's all fine and dandy, but then you get to your very last plank, and when you put the plank on, there's a little bit of a gap up here on the top. And that gap continues all the way down the keel. And some of that is due to the boards shrinking in the past, 60 years or so. And some of it has to do with me straightening the boat. So you'll have to remake that plank along the keel, and then we have to observe what's going on with the rest of the planking. And this plank on the outside in the past has had a piece added into it, nice little short piece on the end. Well, we don't like that nice little short piece, so we are going to take these two planks and we are going to make a new one for the outside here also.
And we'll save this old mahogany, it's gold. Yes. It'll go upstairs to our mahogany bank.
Save for future use.
That's right. So the next step is to remake this plank right along the chine. We're on the port side here, and we will install all the planks working towards the keel, and number 5 will be screwed down in place permanently, and then we will be able to measure and fabricate the 2 planks that run right along the keel so that this space that we're dealing with now that we've discovered disappears. Now, we will not sort of lever these into place. No matter how much we seal them, this is wood and it will move a little bit. So we'll fit them together by hand, but we're not going to squeeze them with bar clamps or anything of that sort. So that's where we are on Thursday, January 28th. By sometime next week, we will have her bottom back together, her true 5200 bottom, and then begin the next step, which is undercoating with 5 coats of 2000E, Interlux 2000E barrier coat, which will then be followed by hard racing bronze. So, thank you so much from Snake Mountain Boat Works.